Trumpism. Maybe not totally done with MAGA, but we can at least be done with Trump for life. That'll be it. That's my hope. Call me naive.
The David Pakman Show, weekday evenings at 10 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Mind Over Matters.
Dr. Amy Harris Nuon, as you know, this show is about challenging you to think differently, to make different choices in your life, to take action, to create positive outcomes in your life. So I want to challenge you to look at your life holistically. Where am I satisfied? What areas need attention? And then go to work, take in action what you need to do.
Mind Over Matters with Dr. Amy Harris Nuon. Sundays at 10 a.m. on WCPT 820. WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
The following program, Collaboraction Radio, is sponsored by Collaboraction, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of Heartland Signal, LLC, or its management.
Breakdown.
What?
That was the breakdown.
Never get tired of this.
Happy birthday to Collaboration Radio.
1 year old. 49 episodes. Hello, and welcome to Collaboration Radio.
At the intersection of art, activism, and social change, those were the sounds of DJ Lady D with the Collaboration Radio theme song.
Thank you for joining us at Collaboration Radio on WCPT 820 AM, Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, and also streaming live on Facebook and WCPT.com, or available on demand at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere you get your digital stuff.
I am Anthony Mosley, Collaboration's Artistic Director.
And I'm Beverly Dines, Collaboration's Interim Managing Director.
And we have a very special show today. Mm-hmm. It is our 1 year anniversary show. Baby Collaboration Radio is growing up, folks. That means this is our 49th episode. Mm-hmm. That means we have 49 hours of content to go listen to at Spotify and Apple Music to take in, inhale, bring into your brain some amazing guests and perspectives. And we're going to do a little look back today, and we're going to have a party. We're having a party. Collaboration Radio. You know, we started this thing as a part of our digital movement. Theater companies are the best. We love theater. But it's, what's it called? Ephemeral. Mm. And we started making digital content so we can have stuff that sticks around. And the conversations that happen behind the scenes of a theater company are actually super fascinating, important. And so we started putting on the microphones and coming over here to WCPT every Saturday at 4 p.m. and recording these conversations, these KEDA conversations. And we're glad you're here with us today, whether you're listening live on the radio or in the very near future. What do you say, Beverly?
I would say thank you for listening in, celebrating a year with us. It's been an awesome year.
We got highlights. We're going to get to those soon. Mm-hmm. And wow, Also, if you want to call in today, we would love for you to call in. If there was a day to call in, today is the day to call in.
Call in and say hi.
Yeah, say hi, say what's up. If you listen to Collaboration Radio, maybe you can reflect back to us, what you've liked, or what you think we could do better, or what we should be focusing on, or what we could be focusing on.
And if this is your first time listening to Collaboration Radio, Collaboration is a 27-year-old nonprofit whose mission is to build knowledge, empathy, dialogue, and action, or what we call KEDA, around oppression and inequity through live theater, film, and now, after a year, radio, that leverage the power of storytelling and community to cultivate positive social change. Collaboration Radio is sponsored by the Joseph and Bessie Feinberg Foundation and donors and members like you. Email radio@collaboraction.org or go to www.collaboraction.org to learn more.
Today's episode of Collaboration Radio is also sponsored by AV Chicago, Chicago's leading provider of AV production and event management services. And Ethos Collective, a purpose-driven destination and event management company. They seek to become a trusted, strategic ally to your business as we delight your audience and generate impactful outcomes. You can visit ethoscollective.com to learn more and schedule a meeting with their team. And Ethos Collective actually sponsors our annual gala, the Utopian Ball, which will be November 2nd.
Yes.
At Venue West. And come and join us.
Some might say it'll be a ball.
It will be. It will be a ball. It will be many. It'll be a big ball, because by then maybe we will have opened up our new space, our House of Belonging, which we're currently we actually might start some construction in the very near future, and we're over there at the Kimball Arts Center. Which, by the way, if you are in Humboldt Park today, it is the Puerto Rican Festival. The parade is tomorrow. They have stages upon stages of DJ and music and amazing food. And, you might see the Puerto Rican flag flying around. As we talked about earlier, there was a period in this country when Puerto Ricans were not allowed to show their flag in public. It's mind-blowing. Puerto Rico. Have you been, Beverly?
I have.
Oh my gosh.
Stunning.
It's a beautiful, great country. And it's not a state, but you don't need a passport, and they use American dollars. Get to Puerto Rico if you can.
Best people, best food, best coffee. I don't even drink coffee, and I had the best tasting coffee of my entire life being there.
So you went to Puerto Rico and you said, you know what? I don't drink coffee, but today I'm going to.
I did.
And then you came back
life.
to the States and you just continued to not drink coffee?
I mean, when you have Puerto Rican coffee, does anything else really match? I don't know.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of coffee from Colombia.
I have not had Colombian coffee.
But they have pretty good coffee over there.
I've heard good things.
But yeah, so call in 773-763-WCPT. That's 773-763-9278. Beverly, you have a lovely voice. Do you think you could jinglify that for us?
Oh, you know what I have in my head? The call 888.
Yeah. Now we need to know it.
I have to think on it. Maybe by the end.
Okay. By the end of the show, Beverly has been challenged to jinglify. And we have our first call.
Ooh.
Hello, Rochelle, and welcome to Collaboration Radio and the one-year anniversary show. How are you?
Congratulations. I'm doing great. Thanks, Anthony. I'm in Cadiz, Kentucky. I left Illinois.
It's Rochelle Zola, our superhero, walking all the way to Birmingham. How are you?
From Montgomery, actually. I'm doing great. I really am.
So where are you? So Rochelle is walking to Montgomery, thank you, for Black lives and equity, racial equity. And
racial equity, liberation.
So how many miles have you gone?
Oh, my goodness. I haven't looked today, but it's over 365 maybe.
Wow.
So more than halfway there. 754 is we have a clock for, but it's actually a little more.
And wow. And how do you eat enough food while all the calories you must be burning?
I know, it's weird. No, I'm not hungry during the day. What I'm doing, it's hot. So I'm drinking a lot of liquids. You know, I'm going through, I don't know, let's see, I'm going through probably close to 90 ounces a day of just liquid. I'll eat some Pedialyte, I have some water, and I'm just sucking it down all day long.
Wow. And share an anecdote from the road as you walk for racial equity. Any stories that you want to share with our audience?
You know what? The biggest thing is, we keep hearing about the polarization of people, and it doesn't matter what their political affiliation is, Anthony. When I mention the way I'm walking, they tell me thank you. And that's been amazing. Wherever I go, I get a thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate you. So yes, that's my biggest surprise all the way down, honestly. It's been amazing. And right now, in the next week, I'm going to be in Nashville area, and I'll probably be there from like the 15th until the 23rd. And we'll go to some Pride events, and we're going to go to Juneteenth events, and it's going to be amazing.
Wow. And it's just getting hotter every day, huh? As you go south and as you get into June.
So I'm now getting up very early. I'm getting up at 5 in the morning. I'm not a 5 in the morning kind of person. But I am now. So my clock has changed a little bit because, it's steamy out here. It's only in the 80s and it's already steamy.
Wow. So Rochelle was on the show right before she left for Birmingham, and she is a white woman. And she has a one-woman play called Late Love.
Late, a love story.
Late, a love story.
And it's a tribute to the Black community, right?
And have you been able to perform that a few times?
We've performed it a few times. I'm hoping to perform it a little more in Nashville when we get there. And a big push is going to be when we get to Alabama, Huntsville, Birmingham, Selma, Montgomery. And so if anyone has any connections to anyone down this route, please let me know because I'd love to perform. It's a free performance and just sharing the stories that I've learned from the Black community. So and that's my big ask.
How can people reach out to you?
Well, the biggest thing you can get on my website, which is late.love. And you will have my phone number, you will have my email, you'll have Rachel Zargo, who does my marketing there. That's the best way to get a hold of me, Anthony.
And so, I'm just curious, it sounds like you've got a lot of good vibes. Has anybody been not friendly to you?
No one has been not friendly. They just don't agree. They'll just say there isn't racism. My Black friends, they're fine. They're not oppressed. There's no problems. But mostly any place I've gone, people, it's so funny because the other day, no, they've been great. One of the things that was interesting, and I want white people to know this, you hear one of the things I talked about with one person was I don't see color, and I was able to explain to them that's quite an insult, actually. It's not a compliment. And people are willing to listen to that. It's like, no, you're actually erasing their history, Black history. And when you explain that, people actually get it. So that's been really nice, too. It hasn't been it's not like it's a hard sell. It's like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. So, they see, all of a sudden it's like, oh, that would make them invisible. They come with a very strong history, right? It's not like they just appeared and disappeared. And, they have. And so that's been amazing to have that piece of it discussed. And the other one, I've been able to speak to people. They'll say to me, oh, I don't like the phrase Black Lives Matter. And I'll say, what if you said Black Lives Matter also? And they get that. I say, okay, that's true. White lives have mattered. Black lives have not. So it's been a very interesting idea that they're willing to listen more than I was. I came with my own biases, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, people are willing to hear just a little tweak, and they're saying, okay, I can live with that. I understand that. It's been nice. It's been great. It hasn't just been nice. It's really been great.
And so how many days is it now?
Well, I left April 2nd, and so it's a little over 2 months on the road. I hope to be, if anybody wants to come down, look on the website also. We plan to have a big splash in Montgomery, Alabama, the weekend of September 12th. That's when I plan on being there. I will be performing again. We hope to have other activities going on. Just want people to get involved and see what they can do, how they can get activated, how they can sit in circle, how they can be with friends, talk about, racial equity. What do we need to do to all participate so that we can actually end systemic racism, as I say, in my lifetime. And I'm 67, so we have to get working.
And you have a birthday coming up, don't you?
I just had a birthday. I turned in May 16th. I turned 66. I wish. No, 76. Oh, my goodness. That's a very big number.
Oh, you just tried to take a decade off. I see. Well, happy birthday.
That's pretty funny.
And, there's Forrest Gump. And there's Rochelle Zola, And please say hi to Nashville. Now, are you gonna do you have any social life, or is it pretty much get up, walk, rest, sleep, get up, walk, rest? Are you doing anything on the road?
That's
no,
about it.
Wow.
No.
And do you sleep well? How is the RV holding up?
Yeah, we had a lot of problems at the beginning, and now it's running smoothly, so we're very excited about that. And we're actually, once a week, we're going to stay at an RV campsite, plus it's easier that way. When we first started out, we couldn't even find a place to dump the gray water and the black water because the campsites were closed. So my driver, Nick, at the time, who was driving the RV for me, and now I have my friend Phoebe, who's now driving it. We switched drivers out. And we realized, now the campsites are open, so we can get fresh water, and we can empty the tanks, and we can get electricity for a night. And so it's been great.
Great. Well, thank you for calling in, and once again for inspiring us with your walk for racial equity. And we will look forward to checking in with you next month.
Yes, thank you, and congratulations. I can't wait to get back to Chicago and see your new building. When is that going to be finished?
Construction should be done in the fall, and we'll see when we can get all the inspections cleared, but we hope to be open sometime this fall and, welcoming Chicagoans together into our new house of belonging. And we know you'll be right there in the circle, pulled up to the campfire. And now, are you gonna walk back, or are you gonna fly, or are you gonna drive?
No, actually, we're going to drive the RV back, and then we'll sell the RV. And we already have 3 performances planned when I get back to Chicago. The first one's October 5th at Theater Y, which you know well. And Wayfarers performing one, and I have a couple churches. DePaul University has something going. So I'll be busy when I get back.
Well, we'll be sure to give you a hero's return welcome. And by the way, we had Melissa Lorraine of Theater Y on the show a couple weeks ago. We had a great conversation with her. If you're looking for something to listen to while you're walking to Montgomery, check out the podcast of Collaboraction Radio. You have plenty of time to listen to all 49. Thank you, Rochelle. Keep on walking, and smell. Don't forget to smell the roses on your way to Montgomery.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Have yourself a wonderful day, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have some Collaboration news and updates to cover really quickly. The House of Belonging is an event series, as well as the name of our capital campaign in our new space. We like it so much, and our next event is July 19th at Epiphany Center for the Arts at 201 South Ashland with the Sandra Delgado Experience. Sandra is a founding company member. She's co-hosted a couple shows with me. She was a guest. She's also the writer and narrator of a show called La Habana Madrid, which is a really powerful show that Collaboraction and Teatro Vista are producing at Millennium Park on August 23rd. It's a free show for the family, and it'll be filled with live music and salsa, cumbia, and stories of Latina immigrants in the 60s that came to a little nightclub in Lakeview where they could kind of escape the oppression of the day and dance. And so come out to check out La Habana Madrid on August 23rd. But first, the House of Belonging at Epiphany Center for the Arts on July 19th. Our youth program is rocking and rolling with our new director of youth programming, Pinky Ring. And actually, Beverly stopped by the rehearsal today with the youth. How was that, Beverly?
So much fun. What a great, great group of students. Awesome group of students.
Yeah, young people. They are the light, and we are following them in their lead towards social change. Mm-hmm. What else? We have a great show next week with Ariane Nettles. She is the author of We Are the Culture, Black Chicago's Influence on Everything. And if you listen to the 48 previous shows of Collaboraction Radio, you will learn a lot from amazing Black Chicagoans. Everything from the history of this city, from Dilla, the history of house music from DJ Lady D, and all kinds of great stuff. And we're excited to have Ariane on the show next week, and we're gonna take a look back at some of the highlights of the first year of Collaboraction Radio. Once again, we double dare you to call in like Rochelle did at 773-763-WCPT. That's 773-763-9278. Are you ready? Are we ready to travel back in time?
We are.
Okay, so this clip is just a little, it's a recap from the first episode, which was like June 1st, 2023. Henry, do you have it dialed up? Let's go ahead and take a listen and travel back in time to the first episode. Hello and welcome to Collaboraction Radio at the intersection of art, activism, and social change.
I am Carla Stillwell, she, her.
I am Anthony Mosley, he, him, and we're trying to find the intersection of art and activism, because there's a lot of people that maybe lean one way too much. And we believe when you balance, the power of art with the potential of activism, we can change our future together.
Oh my God, I was going to talk about a whole nother thing, Anthony, but then your former president got indicted on federal charges. What are we talking about? What did he do with the document, the boxes? He
should have hired two men in a truck.
I watch Bugs Bunny every Saturday. Give me a little lipstick and a little dress.
And also the whole thing here is we're trying to activate people.
Yeah.
We're trying to actually have everyone find a way to show up and actually make some change. And the change always starts with yourself. But there's a lot of talk on the radio. There's a lot of talk on the social media.
But where is the doo-doo?
Yeah, where's the doo-doo? Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Wow, so that was a year ago. We were just getting our learning to walk. And it's funny because right before this show, I heard the previous show was talking about how Donald Trump continues to dominate the narrative in the media. And a year ago, we were talking about all the boxes in Mar-a-Lago, and now we're talking about, the felony counts, the 34 counts, and all this talk about our ex-president. What does it do? what does it really do except get people angry? And so what we're really looking at is how we can activate ourselves hyper locally. And, you know, when people say to me, but there's so much going on, I'm overwhelmed, where do you begin? I just want to reflect the thing that I've kind of conceptualized over my 10 years as a proactive Chicagoan, is that think about the things that you care about the most. Think about your values and what's important to you, and pick one thing that you can get behind, and then find a way to support that. And if you can't get out there personally and, you know, spend time and put a little sweat into an issue, find others that are doing it. You know, this actually opens up a little rant for me. And it's the rant of the naming of nonprofit organizations. Why would you call companies that do things for the common good non-profits? Only in a capitalistic society where things are judged on their profitability would you call. So, you know, we're a 501c3 non-profit. Really, organizations like Collaboraction and other nonprofits have nothing to do with non-profitizing. We are about the common good. And so just the capitalistic mindset of calling a whole category of businesses that are committed to our common good nonprofits puts us in a bucket right from the bat. So I think we should start calling ourselves for the common good companies. And so find yourself some companies that do things for the common good and support them. And you can give them money, or you can give them cupcakes, and do it consistently, and then tell other people, hey, I support this great organization called Collaboration, and I donate $5 a month, and I show up at their stuff, and you too should. And maybe we can get the focus on the good instead of the bad, and we can actually do things instead of not do things. And actually, on Beverly's first time on Collaboration Radio, we even went so far as to, we played a little game, didn't we?
We did.
And we went so far as to build a concept for a show. And art, making art, sharing your story. As our friend Pinky Ring told us earlier today, the shortest distance between two people is a story. And when we listen to each other's stories, we actually understand each other and what it's like to be somebody other than you. And so back to it, make some art. And you don't have to be a professional to make art. You know, it's a really an important part of the human experience. And that's what we do over here at Collaboration. So that was the first episode a year ago. And my former co-host, Carla Stillwell, cracking it up per usual. And now let's go to another clip. Here we have Sherman Dilla Thomas, the TikTok historian, talking about the founding of Chicago. We thought we would do is a special walk through the history of Chicago led by Dilla.
Well, I dig that. I don't think I've ever done that before. So
we got about 20 minutes. So.
Oh man, yeah. And this, boy, if you're from the South Side and you get invited here, leave early. It's a nice drive. So I'm definitely happy to do it. I always start with the land acknowledgement, right? That this place we call Chicago in the Chicagoland area first. belong to the indigenous Native American homies who we jacked the land from, and we should give some of it back to them. But having said that, this what we call Chicago had the Ojibwe, had the Illiwek, which is where Illinois gets its name from, the Potawatomi tribes of Miami, and the Algonquin who name us. And Chicago comes on the scene because these two French white dudes, Marquette and Joliet, first two white dudes on record to kind of canoe the entirety of the Mississippi. And they're looking for the Great Lakes. And so they found, run into some Algonquin homies who tell them go by the S Chicago, meaning go by where the smelly onions grow. And they wrote that on a map, and we've been Chicago ever since. But they don't stay, right? They pass right through, they jump in, they find the Great Lakes, they map them, they keep going. First person to stay is John Baptiste Point Dusab. Dusab is half French, half Haitian, so his dad was a white French dude, mom was a Haitian lady. He lost his mom pretty early in his life, and so he travels with his dad, who some historians refer to as a French pirate. And they end up in Louisiana at the time, which was a French territory, and Dusab decides to stay. And while he's down there, he runs into a trading liaison group from what we now call Peoria. So if your favorite car is a Pontiac GTO like mine is, Pontiac's named after the indigenous Native American Chief Pontiac of Peoria. And Chief Pontiac has a great nephew. And that great nephew meets Dusab, and he's like, dang, Dusab's this handsome black dude, sort of like myself. He's, but unlike me, he's a linguist, right? Because when you grow up on a pirate ship, if you don't know English, then the redcoats are going to jump on your boat and take all your stuff, right? If you don't know Spanish, then conquistadors are going to jump on your boat and take up all your stuff. So he learns all these various languages, and the Native Americans realize that he'll be the greatest trading partner ever for them because he can break the language barriers for them. So they take him back to Peoria. He marries Kithiwatha. Her English name is Catherine. They continue up to Chicago, and they establish a trading post. And it's his ability to speak these languages that grows the trading post, because formerly, right, if the fur traders from Quebec came through and you couldn't speak French, well, there's no trade to be done. He has that in spades, right? He can speak Spanish and get various fruits from Florida that don't naturally grow here. So it's his trading post that establishes Chicago, so much so that he got kidnapped during the Revolutionary.
Dusable. Wow. It was his ability to speak so many different languages that made him a great owner of a trading post. So, and of course, a French Haitian who came up the Mississippi and married Ketihawa, who is really, the mother of Chicago, and like our indigenous people have often been invisibilized and erased, I do feel like Ketihawa should have way more. She should be known and celebrated as the indigenous matriarch of Chicago, but they had a trading post, and it became very popular because of Dusable's ability to speak many languages with the different traders, and then eventually, the redcoats came, and they arrested Dusable at his trading post. That was Sherman Dilla Thomas, who is just an amazing figure of Chicago and is becoming a part of Chicago history. He has a TikTok that has become very popular because he kind of dillifies the history of Chicago, and he knows his stuff. He really does. So I highly recommend following him on the Instagram and the TikTok, and he actually has a bus. He does bus tours of neighborhoods, and I did his bus tour in Englewood, and I learned a lot. I actually learned that on 63rd Street, as you go from 9094 and you drive west on your way to Kennedy King College at Halstead and 63rd, you'll go under a viaduct. So right when you go under that viaduct, the first post office to the left of that used to be the pharmacy and the building of, what was the name of the first serial killer from Devil in the White City? Henry
No, I can't remember.
Holmes. H.H. Holmes. Thank you. So that was the location of H.H. Holmes Pharmacy, and he had some rooms for rent, and it was like a murder house. Well, so that's it right there. And the foundation of that post office is the same foundation of the building of Holmes's murder house. The interesting thing is that viaduct that you go under, which was an old train line, is the train station from which Emmett Till left Chicago to go to Mississippi. And you have these two pieces of history that are just like adjacent to one another, both scary and both now, world renowned and notorious. And I drove by those spaces like maybe 150 times because we produced work at Kennedy King, and I didn't know, and now I know. And so, Dilla does a really good job of bringing history back. And if we don't know our history, we are doomed to repeat it. And so, let's all continue to get our history on. We have a phone call. Hey, Trey, welcome to Collaboration Radio.
Hey, Anthony, thank you. Congratulations on 1 year.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We made it. They say if a radio show makes it through a full year, that it's highly likely to make it through 2 years. So thank you for celebrating with us. What's going on with you? What's on your mind on the art, activism, and social change tip?
Oh, man. Right now, right now I'm making sense to our driver. But at the same time, I'm just really proud of our next generation. They are really not taking anything standing down, and you see tons of young people being way more activists than even I am and Beverly's generation was in the past. And I just find that to be such a hopeful view to see, the mobilization of social change, not just with race relations, but, in terms of poverty, governance, even overseas, a lot of young people are taking a stand and really using their voice and their youth to combat like a lot of injustices. So, whenever I think about activism or social justice, I really get inspired by things in that.
What are you, as you think about the evolution of Collaboraction, what are you most excited about with the new space and all of the new things that we've got going on? What excites you about what we're doing?
I'm excited to hear more conversations about, today's climate. And I'm excited to hear about more shows that you guys are going to be running and just, anything that is going to be happening from this new space. It sounds like you guys are really excited for it, and obviously I'm excited for you, from the tidbits that I hear. So, I'm just looking forward to you guys' future.
Well, thank you, Trey. We're going to have all kinds of things, and we will be radically inclusive. So everybody will be encouraged to come and become part of what we're doing. And we definitely are going to lift up and highlight the voices of young people. And, technology, we all complain about young people and their phones and Snapchat, but we've given them a very powerful tool. And, and
that's why they try to take it away.
Yeah, exactly. And all of the great revolutions have been led by young people and students. And it's so quickly we forget that as we get older. and Collaboration and our youth programming is about just kind of reminding us that it's the young people that will really be the ones that lead the way. And we have a young person in the studio with us today. His name is Max Kaufman, and we might have to put him on the spot in a little bit and see what he thinks. I think he has some interesting thoughts.
Nice talking to you, Max.
Well, thank you for calling in, Trey. We really appreciate it, and we hope you have a great day. What do you have any special plans today?
Just picking up our doggo and then finishing up a move. So, simple stuff.
If you have a dog, take extra special care of your dog, because those dog lives, man, they go fast. We think our dogs are going to be there forever, and every day we get to spend with those furry creatures is a special one. And if you don't have a dog, one day you will have a dog. If you do have a dog, you're going to go, I remember listening to Anthony on Collaboration Radio, and he was right. So I just want to give a shout out to my dog Coda. I love you, buddy. Thank you for reminding me of my my softer side. Bev, you want to give a shout out to your dog?
Yes, I want to shout out Bubs, who Trey is about to go get. Shout out to Bubs.
Wait a second. Trey is your husband?
Oh, yeah. Hi, love you.
I love you. I love you, too.
Thanks for calling in, Trey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great day with your doggo. Henry, do you have a dog?
I don't right now, but I did growing up.
Wow, because I saw you nodding your head.
Yeah.
It's man, what and just the evolution of this domesticated fuzzy animals. It's incredible, and. But we're not here to talk about dogs. We're here to talk about social change. But we sure can learn a lot from our dogs.
That was fun.
Let's go with our next clip from an artist, a photographer, Tanika Lewis Johnson, whose project, The Folded Map, has really changed the way Chicagoans look at the impacts of segregation, and really an interesting, amazing manifester of social change. Tanika.
Years ago, because I'm like, oh yeah, I do need to explain how I came to create the Folded Map project. But really, it's like when you look back on your life after creating the thing that's been stuck in your head, then you're able to see the through line yourself, because I didn't even really think about it until the project came out, and I'm like, oh yes, this literally is my my bio. It's my autobiography in a multimedia project. My lived experience growing up was rooted and started in Greater Inglewood, and then my mom wanted to experience the North Side, so I moved to the North Side in the very neighborhood that is used and part of my Folded Map project, Edgewater, and then also just commuting to my high school from Inglewood to Lane Tech. So the through line of Folded Map is all throughout my life, and really just my reflections and my observations as a young Black girl growing up and living in Inglewood, and then being forced to explore Chicago earlier than, most people, or transplants to Chicago, to access the arts programming that I was interested in, to access education, and then also growing up to realize why I had to go out of my neighborhood at such an early age to even do that. So yeah, really Folded Map is just a culmination of all of my observations growing up, and then finally reaching adulthood and learning why those observations existed, how I was able to have them. So yeah, it really is my life story in a multimedia project.
Wow. That Tanika has really changed the way I think people look at social change, activist-driven art. And she's currently actually working on improving and investing and beautifying a whole block in Englewood. So, like, if you live on the block that she chose, you kind of won the Tanika lottery, and she's showing how block by block we can repair and reverse the impact of segregation, of redlining, of all. You know, a lot of people don't realize that in the 30s and 40s, Chicago was kind of the home of real estate, like the national real estate, was organized and officed in Chicago. And it was in Chicago that they came up with the concept of redlining, which was a map where a red line was drawn to show which neighborhoods banks could loan to or give mortgages to in order to buy homes, and which neighborhoods you could not get a loan to buy a home. No matter how much money or cash you had, if you were in certain neighborhoods, no bank would give you a mortgage. And then these predatory lenders came in, bought all those houses, and they actually did contract homes. And the contracts were very intricate, and they always had a clause that said, like, if you were 1 day late with your payment, we could repossess your home and kick you out, and you would have nothing. And thousands of homes were stolen from black families. And if you look at how wealth is built and handed down from generation to generation in this country, real estate is the primary way. And so Tanika is doing a lot of things. First, as a photographer. A photographer in Englewood is now changing the way hundreds of thousands of people look at racism and segregation and its impact on wealth and family wealth. And I highly recommend learning more about her and her work. You can, the Folded Map is now a curriculum. And so, and the way the Folded Map started, by the way, was she took let's say 7240 South Halsted. She compared that house with 7250 North Halsted. And she took a photo of the houses and put them next to each other. And then she went and she introduced the people to one another. And they built relationships. And she took photographs of them. And it just was a real easy way to show the discrepancies. And we are not, we are just cast into these lives that we are. We really don't have any control over, what body and family we're born into. We are just cast in a caste system into them. And as we break down these systems of oppression with people like Tanika and Dilla, we hope to make change for those future generations. We have another caller. Howard, how we have Howard calling in to Collaboration Radio. 1 second, he's coming in. He's jumping through the hoops that you have to jump through in order to get on live radio.
Yeah.
So what do you think about are you familiar with the folded map at all, Beth?
The folded map?
Yeah. That's Tanika's project. It's really cool. And we actually, Collaboration approached her, and she did a play version of the folded map where an actor played her and kind of talked through the creation of that really amazing project. Did Howard make it through? Hey, Howard, thank you for calling Collaboration Radio. Welcome.
Well, yeah, I worked at UPS on Roosevelt Road, south side there.
Yeah.
And I delivered to Austin neighborhood, and I really liked it. And I wanted to get a house there, and they told me no, not to do it. And what was happening, as more black people would buy, the white people would run and flee, and the house values just kept going down and down and down. And I had a friend that wanted to buy a house and couldn't get a loan, but I had a banker friend, so I went and tried to help this guy get a loan. And he told me that the redlining was so that the banks didn't put a $80,000 loan out for a guy, and then the neighborhood prices go down much lower to like $15,000 or $20,000. The guy that had an $80,000 mortgage and living next door to a guy buying one for $15,000 or $20,000, he would walk away from the mortgage, and the bank would be the loser. And that was basically how redlining was explained to me. And it wasn't just to prevent a person from getting a loan. It was preventing the guy from getting a loan, and then the house value go down to practically nothing. And I had a supervisor friend that bought a house in Austin for $14,000.
Wow. Well, they call that white flight, right? And there is there is documentation that the real estate powers that be, I think they actually have maps with red lines on them.
And I think, to Howard, something you spoke to, right, is the inconsistency in the narrative as well, right? So what was shared with you is one story, right? But then when folks of color who are coming into these spaces to come and, purchase a house, they have the capital, they have the money, they even have cash from under grandma's bed, they were flat out just told no. So even in the narrative, right, you were able to even have that conversation, facilitate that conversation, and was given somewhat of an answer or justification that might have been appeasable for you at that time. A lot of these folks that were just trying to get in the door had the doors shut in their face. And so I think it's really helpful hearing stories like yours, because it further iterates on kind of the complexities of the lack of open communication around the whole system, and how it really, I think it's divided folks where it doesn't necessarily have needed to, but because of those values that we talked about, it's clear that all around, all folks were getting different stories, and the big one being some folks going here and some folks going there. So I appreciate you calling in and sharing your perspective.
Thank you so much, Howard. Thank you so much. Well, we're nearing the end of our 1 year anniversary show. I did promise to bring on the voice of young people, and we do have Max Kaufman here with us today. And Max, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I am 20 years old.
Have you ever been on radio live before?
I think when I was a very little boy.
That doesn't count.
No.
So as a 20-year-old, hearing us talk about art and activism and social change, what's the big thing that's on your mind and your heart with you and your friends as you think about, the role that you will play in helping shape our future?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think finding that intersection that you're trying to find is something that a lot of me and my friends are trying to find, because does feel like there's a lot of things that people are putting on the young generation, saying this is going to be your problem, which they're not wrong about it. You know, that's true. But finding ways to deal with those problems in healthy and sort of community-based ways seems like a better way to navigate them than going it alone. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful. Beverly, do you have our jingle? Are you ready? Folks, Beverly is a songstress, okay? She is like you put things in one end and music just comes out the other. And now she's going to take an attempt at the new jingle.
Oh my gosh.
For the WCPT call-in line.
Every episode, it's a new ball thrown. Okay, I have an idea. Are you ready? Let's see if we can. Okay, so the phone number is 773-763-9278. And the first jingle that kind of came to mind was 773-763-9278.
Oh. Snaps. Wow. Let's do it together.
Right.
773-763-9278. Dum dum. Bum bum. Okay, so can we play the Nick Tremulous song to take us out?
Yes.
And maybe can we talk over it as it plays? I'm sure Nick would like this. Nick Tremulous, Chicago legend. Thank you, Max.
Thank you,
Max.
That
was wonderful. He's known as the mayor of Chicago music, Nicholas Tremulous. He's actually performing at Fitzgerald's on June 21st. You can see us there. I'll be there. I hope some of my listener friends will come out. And he was on the show a couple months ago, and we picked a song of his that he played live here to take us out.
You want something romantic or something? What do you want from me? What do you want from me, man?
Man, I want you to play.
I feel like I'll play this.
Yes.
In these days of toil and strife, where you might as well pay to play, 'cause they're gonna grab it anyway. That's the way that it is today. What's the use in what I got when my life is a vacant lot? Lord above, tell me what to do. Find a man that I can stick it to. Genevieve is a boa constrictor. It's a 25-year.
The preceding program, Collaboraction Radio, was sponsored by Collaboraction, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of Heartland Signal, LLC, or its management.
This is an important announcement for anyone who wants health insurance, even if you missed the deadline. Right now, you can get the health insurance you and your family need from top insurance providers, even if you have pre-existing conditions or no insurance at all. The Plus Benefits Health Insurance toll-free number has been extended to help anyone who wants health insurance coverage now, or if you need a better plan or a lower price. Call Plus Benefits Health Insurance now at 800-378